Hello, it's Spence, the evil genius from Widget Laboratory with your Getting Started tutorial video number 4. In the last video, we left off showing you how you can go from a single column layout to a 2-column layout. In this video, we're going to take it up a notch, and now we're going to show you how to go to a 3-column layout, how to go ahead and add your own content via the FootDoctor to your footer, and to also put in an active ad rotation widget to show your ads for you and your clients. As part of our whole idea of monetizing, ads are obviously still a beneficial way to get some kind of income, but usually it's from internal customers or people related to your niche instead of just general ads. Okay, let's get started with the idea of how do we go from the 2-column layout to the 3-column layout. And by the way, I want to mention, in the last video, we showed you how you can put an image placeholder in to represent some ad space. I want to show you here that if we're going to go ahead and take this main content and reduce it down to a narrower content because there'll be a left column, we have to think about what we're going to do with the size of that banner. So let me show you what happens. First of all, if we go ahead and use our appearance widget area, we can add a new column just by dragging any content into the widget container. So we go over to the admin dashboard and we go under appearance, remember? Now, under Appearance, we click on Widgets. Appearance Widgets is where all the drag and drop layout occurs. We're going to use the Available Widgets. And likewise, we're going to go ahead and utilize the sidebar. Now, in the last video, we showed you that we added a sidebar widget by putting the calendar and who's online. Now we want to use the left sidebar area. So we'll open it up, close the other one, and now let's drag something in there to represent the space. I'm going to start out with something simple. Maybe we'll use the Pages widget. That gives me a simple index of all the pages that we've created for this site. I drop it into the sidebar area with my left-hand mouse and let go. So here we go. My left mouse, drag it up until it's active and let go. Once I'm there, I can go ahead and add a title if I wish. I'll call it My Pages, and I can sort it in various order, page order, page title, or page ID. It's not important for this tutorial, but let's just say there's some additional features that you can go ahead to use with this particular widget, like with all widgets. I click Save, and then when I go back and reload my page, watch what happens. Voila, I've now made it into a 3-column layout. It's that simple. But there's a problem. Remember, I was telling you this is going to happen. That 600 pixel wide banner has now put its nose into the right-hand column's business. Not good, but easily fixed. Remember, with placehold.it, you can dynamically set the sizes of the various images. Now, we do that just by adjusting a number. So we go over here to the admin dashboard. Let's go back over to the content top, where we have a text widget that held that image that's a placeholder. What we'll do is adjust that to 490 pixels. When you do a 3-column layout, that middle content goes to about 490 pixels wide. We reload the page. All right, now we're talking. So look how easy that was. We were able to go from a single column to a 2-column to a 3-column just by dragging a widget over and adjusting a number on the placeholder. Beautiful look and feel, and we've done everything we wanted. Now I'm going to take it to the next level. Remember this footer I told you about uses the FootDoctor. Now FootDoctor gives you an easy way to get results in the layout of your footer, multiple columns, image files, etc., without really having to be a programmer or knowing a lot of code, if at all. Now let me show you how FootDoctor works, because that's a little bit special. We go over to our admin dashboard again. First thing we want to do is make sure that we've activated FootDoctor. That, along with all of our other Lab Social plugins, can be found and managed inside of our own Lab Secrets tab. This is sort of the secret sauce area. Inside of there, once you've installed any of the plugins from the Lab Store plugins window, they'll be available here in My Plugins. So we click in My Plugins, and we see here that I've got the full library available. I'm going to double click on FootDoctor so that I can set it up. Here, once it loads, you'll see we've already set up 2 columns. Now, I can add multiple columns as easy as clicking this button, but for this video, I only want 2 columns, and I'm going to use those to create the very common report content and contact us. Now, we're going to give you these already set up as a sort of placeholder when you get the LabSecrets solution, and you can copy the results here if it's easier for you. In the FootDoctor, I've gone ahead and added an HTML link. I could also add images or header or a text file, whatever. I've just gone old school and gone with an HTML link that is leading to a page I created called Report Content right here in the system. And I've put a custom CSS class And most importantly, I set the width to 120 pixels. Why? Because I don't want that particular column to go wider than the actual text I'm going to put in, because then they'll just have too much space around it. I go ahead and click Save. And then I did a second one over here that was for the Contact Us link. And I likewise set the pixel width to 120 so that I know that it's only going to take enough space to fit the text. Saved it. Now, important, you must click Save Changes, and you'll see the dialog that says you've saved it. Lastly, what if I wanted to reverse the order? This is where FootDoctor really shines. If I had to hand code this, I'd have to go in and change things up. But with FootDoctor, I can manage these columns drag and drop style. So let's say I want the report content on the right. Go back into FootDoctor. It's really difficult, so watch closely, drag it over to the right, and I click Save. Oh, a lot of work. Reload the page, and 1, 2, 3, voila. It's that simple. FootDoctor is a great way to manage multiple columns in your footer. Okay, we've covered a lot of territory. We've got a couple minutes left in this tutorial. Let's take it to that final level. Let's add a real live ad banner. With WordPress, there's currently over 11,000 plugins available. By no means do we suggest you should use any or all of those 11,000, but we do give you a great selection of over 34 key features. It's a really powerful library, but once you get your teeth cut, you can really go wild with adding granular level features that aren't available on other platform solutions, especially those like Ning and Social Go, where you get what you get and that's it. In this case, we're going with the plugin called AdRotate, which does a great job of making complex ad management simple and in a way that you can monetize with your clients and the people that you're actually selling ad space to. We go ahead and first want to activate the plugins. When you get the LabSecrets Solution from us, we'll typically have a variety of plugins installed to your needs, but the rest of them will be available inside of your site ready to activate. When you go to the plugins page, you'll see we can look at all of the plugins, or we can select only those that are active. We can also click on inactive, which are the ones in gray. And this is a filter. Right now I've on the all page, so you can see I've got a gray representing an inactive plugin, and the rest are in white until I get down here, that's inactive. This means that I can use this as a great menu, but if it gets too long and you have too many of them, you would probably want to filter out so you can better see what you want. All right, AdRotate, I'm going to go ahead and click Activate. Don't be confused by this network activate. That comes into play when you're using our multi-site option, when you have multiple blogs for your members inside of one site. We'll get to that in a later video. All right, now I've activated AdRotate. I'm going to give you a quick tutorial of what I did here, and by no means should this be considered comprehensive because we'll cover this in a specific video just for AdRotate. When I go to AdRotate, I can set up a specific ad. If I only want to do individual ad campaigns, I can set up groups. Now that works out, for example, when I'm working here in the left column, I know that this is only 120 pixels wide. We already saw that it's not a good idea to have a 600 pixel wide ad show up into a space that's only 120 pixels wide because it's going to stick over. So I can group all the ads by size to ensure that I'm only running the proper size for the particular space. Next, I can go ahead and also manage blocks, which is something we'll talk about in the specific video. I also have user and admin stats, and I have the general settings. Real simply, how I create the ads is first I go ahead and upload into the media center any of the images that I might want to use. I click on Add New. In this case, I'll open it in a new tab. And here I went ahead and selected files. You can do 1 or 2 or 10 or 20. It'll do them all. And I uploaded them right here. Once they're uploaded and in my media library, I can go ahead. I can see obviously what I uploaded. I go back over to my AdRotate, and I can use that to create my first ad. Now here I would click on under Manage Ads, Add New, and I have already filled this one out, so let me show you what I did. I'll click on it to show the actual setup. I made a unique title. Once I made the title, which could be anything, this just tells me the size, I went ahead and used this little sample cheat sheet here they give you. And when I did, I pasted it in and I put in my specific details. Now in this case, this is an example of how to do a hard-coded URL link as well as using an image variable. I want to actually use a click tracking mechanism so that I not only have a hard-coded link, but I can also track how many times the ad went out to that link. Now variables are something you don't need to know other than this little code here with the percentage, link percentage, and this other one called percentage image percentage. When I go ahead and use those instead of a hard-coded link like labsecrets.com, it will allow me to track every single detail of what happens. So I'm going to restore that. And this is basically otherwise just a normal reference link. And instead of putting text in the middle, I have the image. I can set the parameters for how long I want this ad to display date-wise. I can also make this part of a greater pool of ads so that if I want to use it to fill in space around the site. Here's a little preview of the image. I have here the actual code I would use if I only wanted to run the one ad by itself, but as I'll show you in a second, we're going to run this as a group. I then also can add in from my member pool the advertiser who is actually paying for this ad to run. It's a great way to monetize your site when you have individual people who are willing to pay to have their particular ad content shown to other members of your niche network. In our experience with our customers, that's always been a very satisfying way to get income because they already know the community within which they're going to be selling their goods and services, and they're more than willing to put up the money to pay for that advertising space. Click tracking. If you enable this, you can put in that particular URL where you want that link code to go. Remember, we put that link variable right here. Well, this is the actual URL that it's going to go to. By using click tracking, it ensures that you can see exactly how many views and how many links it got. Next, banner image. Remember, we uploaded those media files which had the banner images, and here's where I would select which one I want to use. In this case, I'll use that one, and that will be, again, tracked via this image variable that I put in over here. The other details are a little more generic, but you can see you can set how many maximum clicks till this particular ad expires or how many impressions. That would keep you from, let's say, running one ad too often if you wanted to rotate in some other ones. Lastly, I can select the group that this ad belongs to, and I did create a group called left column ads, so they were all going to be sized specifically at 120 pixels wide, and I said, yes, add this ad to that group. I saved it, and I'm ready to go ahead and get the embed code. Now, if I was only going to run this one ad, I would get the embed code from the ad. But here I'm also going to run other 120 pixel wide ads. So I went to the Manage Groups area, and I went ahead and grabbed the embed code from the left columns ad section. So here, when I click on left column ads, I went ahead and grabbed the embed code and copied it. Now I go ahead over to my Appearance Widgets area, which is where all this layout occurs. And I went in, I'm going to set up a PHP widget. So let's put it into the left column, left sidebar, right underneath the Pages area. I grab the PHP widget, I drag this up. Now the difference between the text widget and PHP widget is that the PHP widget pretty much trumps the need to use the text widget because it will also allow for HTML, JavaScript, Flash, and PHP, even WordPress template tags, whereas the text widget will not. It will strip that out. So here, let's call this something like Our Sponsors, and let's paste that tag or a code that is calling the AdRotate group number 1, the one that has those 120 pixel wide banners. Go ahead and save it. And let's go back to the page and see how it works out. When I reload the page, 1, 2, 3, and there we go. Zero programming skills, I was able to create a 3-column layout with multiple banner zones. I've added real live ad tracking, and I've also been able to add things like index and a custom footer. Now watch what happens. To finish this tutorial up, when I click on this particular banner, it takes me, of course, to the link where we included, LabSecrets. But when I go back to my backside, of the site in the admin dash, I can look at the statistics. Now, I can view the stats in multiple places. First of all, right off the bat, you'll see here for Manage Ads that I've got the actual number of impressions and clicks on that particular ad. I got 1 click, which is a 2.9% click-through rate. And I can also look at the stats for groups. And I can also look at sort of an aggregation. So we've got, for example, a panel that shows to me as the admin for the total stats of the site, as well as a user stats. Remember, if you have a person on your site who is buying ad space, you can give them a custom dashboard, which they will see in their side of things, which shows only their ad information. Okay, we've covered a lot of territory in video 4. We'd like you to join us now for video 5 of the Lab Secrets Getting Started tutorial series.